Alright guys, so I'm just going to take you through a tutorial using the Autodesk Sketchbook app. Um, if you don't have the app, then you can use paper and a pen to do this, a similar, or paper and a pencil to do a similar exercise. But if you do have an iPad with the Autodesk Sketchbook app on there, then this is really handy. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select from my pack here. I'm going to select a black tone, and I'm going to make sure I've got one layer selected, which is on the top, the right hand layer screen. You can change the width of your pen if you want to, so that's the width I've got at the moment, which I think is 1.9. If I change that, I can put if I select that, I can put the size up. 3.5 is a bit too much, so I'm going to go back down. So 1.9 is my preferred size. If you want to change the colour, you can using the puck, but black tends to look the best. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to do a cube that's in orthographic. That means that it's not got any foreshortening, and all the sides are the same length. All right, so I'm just going to select. First of all, I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. The first thing I'm going to show you is to do it kind of not freehand, but using the predicted stroke function, which is really good. If I bring it down to level 1, or I knock it off entirely, if I draw a cube using this method, you'll see the problem. It's just really horrible. So if I go to the undo, and I'm going to undo all that, and I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to show you the correct way of doing it. So if I put my predicted stroke up to 5, and I'm going to draw a line which is about 90 degrees from the baseline. I think my baseline is going to be something like that, yeah? Right, so I'm not going to redraw that line because I need that line 3 times in orthographic. So on the right hand side now, I'm just selecting my layer, all right? And I am going to duplicate that layer. Now, you can see now I've got 2 layers there on the right, they're both the same. If I go to my top menu, I can see my arrows up, down, left and right. I'm going to select that, and I'm just going to shimmy this across a little bit, okay, to about there, all right. Now I'm done with that, I'm happy with that, it's in a good place. They're 2 different layers, right. Now that means they can move independently of each other, right. Now if I select my original again, and I'm going to duplicate that again, and I'm going to move that across. So it's about, you can use your eyes to do this if you've got a good eye, but it's about in line with, let me just show you, the other one across there. So it's not far off, it'll probably come down a little bit, okay? So I'm just going to move that down, tiny touch. And that'll be alright, okay, so done. So I got those 3 lines going up. I don't need them apart anymore, so if I press the top layer and it says merge, and you can see there's a little arrow pointing down, so that'll merge with the line below. Next one, I'm going to select that layer again, the top layer, and I'm going to merge down again. Now they're all on the same layer, which is excellent, well, exactly what I want, okay? Right, now I'm going to put another layer in, so I can draw on top without affecting those lines, okay? So I've just got to my predictive stroke again up to level 5, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now how I zoom in on this is I use the pincer sort of grip, and with my thumb and my middle finger, and I'm just going to open and close the pincers on the screen, and that zooms in or zooms out, okay? So now again, I'm going to start on this line on the left, and I'm just going to draw a line that looks as if it's going to meet the other one, okay? Now you can see now, that's not very good. I'm going to try that again. Right, I need that to go to the other line, other tip. Right, so it's just missed it, and that's fine. So if I go to my move tool again, which is the arrow up, down, left, right, I'm going to use my pincer grip now to grab it and just tilt it slightly and open it up a little bit. It's quite touchy, this is, alright, so try your best to do it. That's perfect, lovely. Once you're done, press done. Now that line, I need that 3 times the same as the uprights, okay? So I'm going to duplicate that line and I'm going to move it down. And I'm using a pen or a stylus, sorry, to do this, so it's a little bit easier with a stylus. If you haven't got a stylus, you just use your finger, it's not a problem. Okay, I'm going to go to my original on the right, not the top one. I'm going to duplicate my original. If you duplicate the duplicate, you lose the integrity of the line as you go along, so it becomes a little bit faded. So always, if you're going to duplicate the original line. Okay, great, that's perfect. Right, so I've got my front, well, my right face and the makings of the rest of it. Okay, merge these lines together. Merge them all, right, so they're all together. Okay, so if I move that now, they all move together, all right? Okay, so I'm going to slightly rotate my screen. I do that with a pincer grip again, just turn it around. And I'm going to select, I've got my pen selected, I'm going to go up to my predictive stroke. Again, I'm going to try and get those two corners to meet. I'm going to start on this line and I'm going to try and get it, that's not bad. Try and get it the other line. You just want to make sure this is touching the other black line, okay? I'm going to sort that out later with the rubber thing. I can get through that. What I haven't done, look, is I haven't duplicated, I haven't made another layer. So I need to go back and draw on a different layer. Otherwise I can't move it. So that's a mistake on my part, sorry. So I'm on a different layer now. And like I said, if you don't do those layers, it'll catch up with you somehow. Right. I'm just going to do my transform tool again. I get a pincer grip there, rotate it around, and try and shimmy it into place. Like I said, I know I'm using this app, but you can do this with a pencil and a ruler. All right, I'm going to duplicate that again, zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to just move him up here to this corner. Because we've done it orthographic, they're all the same size. We'll duplicate the original, not the duplicate. Bring him up to here. And that's fine. Okay, so I don't need to rub any lines out. I'm happy with all of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to merge all of that together. All right, and move it over here. Now, if say you wanted to resize that, you can press that and just shrink it down a little bit, make it bigger, what I do. And that's fine. I'm happy with that cube. Right, so next one now, I'm going to show you a slightly different way of doing this. And we're going to draw it in perspective, right? So it's foreshortened at the back end, right? Okay, so rather than using the predictive stroke now, right, I've got a new layer on my right. I'm going to select the shapes tools and I'm going to press the line. Right, so with this one, I'm going to draw a line, and this is slightly different. It extends the line. It doesn't draw it for you, right, like you do with the other tool. And I bring that across to about here. I'm going to put another layer in. I'll just rotate it slightly, and I'm going to draw up using my line tool from this bottom corner. Something. Yeah, I'm going to have to keep it at a 0 angle. If you look at the bottom of the screen while I'm holding this now, you can see I've got the zoom percentage and the angle, but it's -1. I need it on 0, right? I need to make sure it's on 0, right? Otherwise it doesn't draw a line that's 90 degrees. So I draw my line in here, and it's on a different layer, which is fine, because now I can move it, which is what I need to do. So I'm just going to move that like this, and get it just so it's kissing that corner. Lovely. Now with this one, I'm going to duplicate again and move it across to here. But I'm going to add foreshortening, so I'm going to definitely need it to be smaller, right? I'll just do a crossing over for a minute like that, okay? Done. I'm going to duplicate my original again, duplicate, and push it over this side. But there. All right. Okay, so I can merge them now because I'm happy with them. You don't have to merge everything until the end, right? But I just do it as I go along. Okay. Another layer. select your line tool, and this time from the top, you're going to draw this line slightly foreshortened, right? So it's coming down a little bit. If you put it too far down, you won't see the top face of the shape. If you put it anywhere above, which is like 0 degrees up here, you will see the top of the shape, all right? So I'm just going to put it up just above 0 degrees. Now I'm going to draw from this bottom edge down here. See, now I need a new layer. You need to make sure you're adding a new layer all the time. Something like that. Another layer. Something like that. It's not quite there, so I'm going to move that one. In fact, I've got to make it a bit bigger as well. Good thing about this is you can play with the lines till you're happy with them. Happy with the length of that, but just not the size. The angle, the position, sorry. Right, that's fine. Okay, so another layer on top. Select my line tool. Come from this one across here. Move that over a bit. I don't know if I'm happy with that. We'll check now. I'm going to use the other line tool now to come across here. Yeah, I'm not happy with that because it's in the wrong place, but I can move it, can't I? So I'm just going to pop that one up there because that one's all right. Right, this line was a bit out, so I'm just going to use my move tool again and use the pincer grip just to rotate it until it's kind of in the right position. Okay, so a bit of patience, that's all you need with these guys. Okay, right, there we are. So I got a cube that's kind of foreshortened. It's not perfect. In fact, I'm going to see if I can just improve it a little bit with that top one. But this is the good thing about this program is that you can edit. Obviously, if you are merged them, don't merge them until you're happy. That's a bit better, I think. I can live with that. Okay, so now I'm happy with the cube shape. I'm just going to merge down. Don't merge all because that'll merge with the other cube that you've drawn on the page. Okay, so now I've got two different cubes. But you can see the difference in them. With the orthographic on the left and the sort of perspective drawing on the right. So I'm just going to go in now and start tidying these lines up, because on this one I don't need to tidy the lines up, but this one I definitely do. So I've got two rubber tools on my in my toolkit here on the left. The bottom one is I've set it up as a wide rubber, so it rubs out quite a lot. The top one, if I zoom in, this only rubs out a little bit, right? So they're handy because one's much more precise than the other. Now when you're rubbing out, guys, right, just be wary, there's a little bit of lag on this and it can actually crash the program using my iPad. There's a bit of lag there, I was trying to move it. If you reboot the program, it makes very little difference. It auto-saves as you go along. It's really quite good at auto-saving, actually. So don't worry too much if it crashes and you have to reload it. It should still reappear, right? So I'm just rubbing them out. And use my other rubber now just to show you that I'll rub the other side a little quicker. Just working my way around now. Rubbing these lines out. Just going to touch up that last bit there. Get rid of that. There we go. Okay. Take that out. And the other one. Just curve the edge a little bit. Not a lot. Just soften it a little bit. Let's rub that out. Yeah, sorry. Back in with a precise rubber there. Just soften that edge a little bit. That's fine. Right, let's rub it out. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so I got my two cuboids that are supposed to be cubes, but they're not. Not quite, but they're there or thereabouts. Okay. You can use on this program, which I'll show you briefly. In the top menu, there's like a sort of cuboid that's got a lot that's been split into sort of sections. You've got 1 point perspective mode, which you can follow the line, so it gives you the grid right? You've got 2-point perspective, 3-point perspective, and you can put your own custom grid in if you want to, etc. There's lots of different things you can play around with on there. All right. Okay, so the last part of this tutorial I was going to show you is just filling in the shapes really and the colors. So if I select my color here, I want to maybe do one in a blue. So you can use a mid-tonal range or a lower or a higher tonal range. I like the sort of pastel-y colours in the middle, right? They often look nicer. So I'm going to select that as my middle colour, my middle tone. I'm going to select my paint bucket tool at the top. I'm going to select my orthographic cube from the right. Now I'm not affecting the top one. If I press the top one and try and colour in my other cube, you can see it doesn't like that because it thinks you're trying to colour outside the box. Well, this one I've selected my other layer and I've selected that face, and that's what I wanted. Okay, so go back to my colours, tone down a little bit, doesn't have to be a lot. You can play with this. Tonal my paint bucket again, and that's select that side. Now this top layer I'm going to go quite light to this one and pop it, sorry, paint bucket tool in the top. Alright, so a nice looking cube there, fantastic. I select my other cuboid now, or cube, whatever it's supposed to be. I'm going to go to red this time. No, maybe not. Maybe purple, nice and bright. So again, a mid-tonal colour. Make sure you get your paint bucket tool selected. That face. That's not what I want. Colour. Bring that down to there. Paint bucket tool. Pop it up quite light. There we go. Alright, so there's your two cubes. You can do different things with this. You can add, if you want to put a new layer on top, so say I want to put some highlights on it, I could. So I'm just going to select my pen tool and I'm going to put it on white. Now I'm going to pop, there's two ways of doing this. You can either do it freehand, or I like to do it with a line tool. So I'm going to just draw on top of here on the corner a line. Alright, and I'm going to draw a line going this way, just to give a bit of sheen to it, like make it look sort of plastic colour or plastic material. Now when you go back in, you can use a rubber and get rid of your line tool. And you can rub out certain bits just to sort of soften it, or you can use the thicker rubber just to take them away a little bit, so it's more gently. Alright, and then that gives it that sort of highlighted look. Alright. The other thing you can do with this is if you wanted to put like marker pens on it or use the spray paint, you can, right? And I'll show you how to do that. If you look at my layer on the right now, there's a little lock, and I can lock it and unlock it. But if it's unlocked, okay, if I go to my spray paint colour now as blue, again, somewhere around here for now. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same colour as that. If I spray paint it, look, you can see it's gone everywhere. Right, except for the other shape. It's gone behind that because the shape is in front of the other one. Look, if I move that layer down below, it'll be in front now. If I move it above, etc. So you can put like a nice colour behind if you wanted to, but I don't really want to do that. I want to affect the cube here. So rather than having that unlocked now, I'm going to lock it back up, right? And now I'm going to spray paint it. And what you'll find is it colours inside the cube. Alright, so you can add, if you wanted to, the spray paint, mind you, is absolutely massive, that size is. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. You can add these sort of textures to it as you go along. So brighten it up on the bottom or on the top if you wanted to. So I go back and I'm just going to brighten it a little bit on the top corner there and add a little bit of sort of shadow to the top. That's up to you, right? You can do the same on the other side if you wanted to give it a bit more depth. But now, because you've selected that, what do you call it, the lock tool, right? It only colours now inside the shape you've drawn, right? So if you unlock it, it's outside. If you lock it, it's inside. I can't colour outside now. I'm trying to, I can't. I'm going back into the shape now again, right? So you can have a little play around with that if you want to. It's up to you. You can use highlighter pens as well. They do the same thing. So rather than this you blend, color blend, with the highlighter pens, I'm just going backwards on this now, pressing back to get rid of that effect. All right. I'm going to use highlighter pens now to put in marks instead. Okay. All right, and you can use that and just have a play around with the highlighter pens as well if you wanted to. What I do like to do with these is if I put a layer in and I put my shape on top of that layer, and I use my spray paint, I'm going to just drop a shadow underneath. So I've locked that. I don't want to lock it. I want to unlock it because I want to do it behind. Oh, I'm drawing on the same layer. That's the problem. I need to draw the layer underneath. Alright, the shadow will drop behind it, okay? Which does set it off nicely, okay? You can put, you know, shadow in however you want, see fit really. But that does help as well, lifts it off. Alright, yeah, that's basically it. What they do in rendering sometimes is they drop a little bit of the opposite colour in, so blue, go round to kind of like an orangey yellow colour. Alright, I'm just going to pop this on a new layer again, that's in front. Where are you? Oh, there. What they tend to do is drop a little bit of the opposite colour in, and it bounces it off. That might be a bit too much, but I'll put it in, right, I'll move it up a little bit. So I'm going to move that up just a touch, so it's just creeping out, right, and that helps it sort of bounce off then, makes it look nice. Okay, so that's basically it. 2 cuboids done differently. Have a go.